Hello and welcome to another vlog. So this week I am just mood reading, whatever I feel like, and I've already read some books, so let me tell you about them. So we have The West Passage. This was an arc from NetGalley. It is about two apprentices, so they're two teens whose mentors pass quickly and then they have to rapidly ascend to the roles and fill them. So they've got all of this responsibility heaped upon them. In this world, you've got, I think it's 5 towers, all a different color, and they all correlate with different things. So the gray tower, for instance, is the tower of births and deaths, and everyone there is given a plant name, and they're all connected via these passages. And there's this sort of fear of a beast returning, this beast that the guardian keeps fighting and placating and then keeps returning. And that's the omen that the beast is coming back. So they both set off to go to all the other towers and tell the eldritch queens there what's going on, but all the eldritch queens hate each other and both apprentices get lost and turned around along the way and they end up visiting all the realms. So I have given this 2 stars. The beginning, after the first chapter, I already thought this isn't for me. The writing style was very dense, but this book is like a fantasy version of Alice in Wonderland on too much acid, bro. Like totally cooked. And I didn't understand a single thing that was going on. It was so bizarre and nonsensical. But because it's fantasy, I thought just push through for 100 pages and maybe once you've got a handle on the world building and the magic system, you'll be right. Well, after 100 pages, I was still a lost little goose and not really enjoying myself. And I was going to DNF it, and I should have. But then when I went to go on the page to leave my review and why I couldn't finish it, everybody's reviews on there were glowing. Everyone loved it. When on Goodreads, same thing. Everyone loves it. So I thought maybe you just have to push through and you get a payoff at the end and everything makes sense and you're like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah, so I pushed through the 400 so pages and I was still left none the wiser by the end. It was just too weird for me. And like I said, it was dense and I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't get attached to any of them. And I just was left feeling like, what did I just read? What happened? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just, I think, not for me. Sometimes you just have books that just don't speak to you, and this one didn't speak to me. We were speaking different languages. But I think I do need to stick to my instincts more, not be swayed by other people's reviews. I am a bit influenced by peer pressure that way. I'm like, well, I can't be the only person that doesn't like it. But no, it turns out I'm the only person that doesn't like it. So that was The West Passage. And then I read Christa Comes Out of Her Shell. So this was on my April TBR, but didn't come in time. So it came now. Okay, so this is about a biologist who's working on an island and her father had mysteriously disappeared 25 years earlier. And then all of a sudden he's been found, and it says it throws her through a loop. So I liked this sort of quirky bits about her being a biologist. So you get a lot of animal plant facts in this. Every chapter has a picture of a plant or an animal, flora, fauna with a description of it. I like that. Look, I'm a science nerd. I like learning about things. So that was cute, but the book is heavily focused on the father returning and sort of like their relationship. And he's a narcissist. So I don't like him. And it was just too much on the family drama. And that's, I'm not a family drama person. It's why I tend to steer away from a lot of litfic if it's too much on like family drama. And this one was, so I pushed through for 50% of it. And I decided not to continue because it's also got a very comical, humorous style, but the sense of humor is not my sense of humor. And there's nothing more cringe when a book is got a certain humor style that you don't jive with, that you don't find funny. So it's always just obnoxious, I guess. That's how I felt. And I didn't like the characters, once again. So this was just doing nothing for me. So I decided to DNF it. And then I picked up Dreamer's Pool, which was on my TBR for this month. Oh, DNF this real quick. It opens up with the woman in a prison cell saying that she'd been, essayed and she was about to be executed. And then a fae comes along and says, hey, I've got a deal for you. For 7 years, you have to help people no matter what. And you can't seek vengeance on the person that put you in here and did this to you. And she's like, but he deserves to pay. And he's like, well, then have fun dying. Like, these are your options. After 7 years, you can do what you want or you can die now. So she's like, all right, I'll take the deal. The issue that I have is I don't like her. So she's got a prison mate who seems like a nice guy. I think his name was Griff. And she's so mean. She's just, shut up, Griff. Shut up. Don't talk to me, Griff, you piece of shit. I'm not joking. Like, just nasty person, and I get it. She's had nasty things done to her, but she's also nasty. And I decided to read some reviews because I was like, oh, I'm not liking this. I'm not also liking the style. I've read Juliette Marillier's other works and I've liked them. But in this case, I wasn't liking the writing. And then I read some of the lower reviews and some of the stuff that happens with it, especially sort of things that involve sex and women. No, I'm not going to continue. Not going to continue with that one. So that's another DNF. So I'm off to a good start. I'm reading Physically Practice, and it seems to be about a woman who has a very methodical way of being. I think she's obviously a Virgo, probably neurodivergent, but she's got a structure to her life, and I think her routine is thrown off kilter. At the moment, it's easy to read. It's just little paragraphs on each page, sort of about what she's doing that day. And that's very calming for me. I don't know if I'll continue to enjoy it if it stays the same. It might be too monotonous, but I don't know what the rest of the book entails. But at the moment, it's just chilling me out a bit and soothing my nervous system. In regards to what's on my Kindle, I haven't decided yet. I'll put a picture here of what I decide to read once I'm at the cafe. I'll obviously pick something while I'm out. And so those will be the last 2 books for this particular vlog. But I'll touch base with you guys once I've read something and after I've gone to my cafe. Okay, I'm back. I went to 2 cafes today and both of them had such cozy vibes. So warm, beautiful atmosphere. Definitely enjoyed my time out and about. Now, with the book I read, 50% of the God Engines. So I put this on my TBR for the month and it was recommended to me by Monty Atkins. He's got his own YouTube channel. Sorry, Monty, this is not for me. So basically in this world, you've got religious zealots who use other gods to fuel their engines. Look, on this particular ship, whatever it is, they have comfort women. And the main character of this, the captain, uses said comfort women, and that gives me the massive ick, the most of the icks. The characters themselves also felt kind of flat to me, but the biggest issue I had with this was that it is definitely a book with faith as its main theme. Now, whilst I can stomach some sort of religious overtones or themes and that in books, this one was just too much steeped on that. Like every single sentence started with our Lord, our Lord, our Lord. And look, I just have too much religious trauma from things that happened to me when I was 14 by members of my church to continue to read that terminology. And then to have, like I said, women on board whose purpose was to be sex workers for the officers and the people on the ship. No. So I could not push through. I tried because it's a short book, but 50% I thought, I'm going to give this a low rating. Let's be real. There's not really much that I'm enjoying about it. Like I said, I have read Scalzi's book about being a villain with the cat in the suit, and I thought that was fine. That had some humor in it. This didn't really have humor. This was a very serious kind of book that opens up with the torturing of a god. But yeah, I had to DNF that one. So I am going to continue with the practice book. I think I need to pick something else too. I don't want to leave this vlog without a really good book to rave about. I get more enjoyment out of raving about books. So we'll see what else I can grab from my library. But that is everything. But I'll see you the next time I've read something. Hello. So I have read the final books for this vlog. So we've got Practice by Rosalind Brown. What I really loved was the way this was formatted. So you've got very piecemeal pages. So a lot of them just have like a small amount, some full page, but most of them are just like that. So it's very easy to read. It's non-laborious, However, I did read 50% of this and then decided to DNF because it was really mostly no plot, just vibes. And while it was calming to listen to this lady talk about poetry and the goings on of her day, I just wasn't in the mood for it. I wanted something to razzle dazzle me, to sink my teeth into, and this one was just a bit humdrum. I would say. So I did decide to DNF it. I did say that I wanted to have at least one banger in this video, and I think I've accomplished that with the hidden history of flowers. So this is stunning. I'll put some pictures up of the illustrations inside, but it's just little tidbits about flowers. For instance, I'll read a little bit about the deadly nightshade plant for you. So belladonna is one of the most poisonous plants to have ever graced the British Isles. It is associated with superstitions, witches, and the devil. The plant's name provides context. Its genus, Atropa, refers to Atropos, one of the three fates in Greek mythology, who had the job of cutting the thread with sharpened scissors to decide when to end the life of a mortal. Belladonna, the plant's species name, is derived from a much more seductive use of the plant, meaning beautiful woman in Italian. It refers to the cosmetic use of the berries during the Renaissance period. Women during this era dilated their pupils using eye drops made from the concoction of the deadly nightshade berries in order to feign the appearance of arousal. It did end up poisoning them. So a lot of them suffered vision loss and signs of poisoning. But it says that in history, in civilizations like, say, the Greek Maenads, shamans, witches, they would concoct potions from the berries, and that would cause them to trip, but they would believe that they were communing with the gods and with nature and having visions. So I liked it. They do sometimes reference the Victorian florography meanings to some of the plants. I love flowers, okay? So I like learning about them, not just their medicinal uses, but the etymology of their names, how they are represented in folklore and mythology. It's interesting to me. The only thing that I don't like about this, so I've given it 4.5, and that's because not every plant has pictures. So here you've got elderflowers. There's no picture of an elderflower. I don't know how you can have a book about flowers and then not have a picture of that flower. So you're talking about foxglove and you're not going to show a picture of the foxglove? So people can know what this poisonous plant looks like? That makes no sense to me. But the pictures that are in here, stunning, absolutely gorgeous. I love them. They could all be hung up in my house. And this book has beautiful end papers as well. So that's the only downside, is that not every entry had an image of the flower that it was talking about, which I think is a really big missed opportunity. It should have been a necessity, to be honest. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. So I'm glad that there was one banger this week, and this was it, a book about flowers. Once again, I've put the camera on the wrong side, so I keep looking over here, and you're over there. And I'm wearing my glasses this time. There's really no excuse. It's just habit to track my eyes to the right instead of to the left. That is everything for this week. Until next time, stay wild, star child.